Joe Biden, the best person to have? Yeah. Do you really believe that?
Yeah, I was wrong. You know, I've known Joe for 30 years. He's a nice guy, but he's been a disaster as president. You know, this was literally happening on the day of January the 6th, and I was hoping that President Biden could bring us together. Common sense tells you want the president to be successful. But not only has he failed to bring us together, he has made us less safe. He's ruined our economy. All the bad guys are moving around the world. They didn't do this on Trump's watch because they're afraid of him. Nobody fears Joe Biden abroad, and at home his policies are failing.
Lindsey Graham appeared on Jesse Waters' show and had to answer for more leaked audio tapes, this time not from Kevin McCarthy, but from himself, as he was talking about how he felt Joe Biden, who can really hate Joe Biden? Joe Biden's gonna unite this country, and most importantly, apparently Joe Biden won that election. All those things weren't really answered, but Jesse Waters did grill him on other things. That was the first part of him going and trying to make amends on Fox News. But there was more. There was more that he talked about. Let's go to more.
Let's turn to Senator Lindsey Graham, South Carolina. Senator, you know how we feel about this. We want to help Ukraine, obviously. But it goes out the door so fast. Like everything gets done for Ukraine like this, like that. Billions out the door like this. And meanwhile, Americans are looking around like, hey, Congress, what about us? Do you feel that?
Hey, I totally get it. Here's the problem with Ukraine. They run out of money in terms of buying weapons, I think, at the middle of May. So the Ukrainian army is delivering a whoop ass on the Russian army. They're about to run out of ammunition. They're not asking for any soldiers. They're not asking for us to take over the skies anymore.
I know, but we're getting our asses whooped here, Senator. You know that.
We're getting our asses whooped here, Senator. We're gonna get to how that's actually pretty significant here. But the first thing is, as far as Lindsey Graham, first not answering that question or kind of answering that question. He went on a further talk about how the Republicans aren't really in power right now. So this is all the Democrats' fault when it comes to what we're doing as far as Ukraine, even though all these folks that were voting on it after it went through the House and not being held up for a minute in the Senate. Last I checked, there's Republicans in the Senate and they're voting for this as well. But also that stopping Putin would also make put the world on notice that we're not gonna allow this thing to happen. Any other country that wants to invade any neighbors that are potentially not prepared to defend themselves might wanna think twice because America might do something else about it. So he goes through all those things, but also just off the top again, because I feel like I breezed through that too fast. There was this unity thing that Lindsey Graham talked about. How you gonna have unity from people who say one thing and then do the next once they're saying things publicly? Where's the unity part? Who's gonna ask Lindsey Graham, so that whole unity thing with Joe Biden, what part about that do you play? None, apparently. You have to just do what they say, then that's their version of unity. I'm done with that part. But continue on, Rand Paul was the one that was blocking and holding up this emergency aid of $40 billion more dollars to Ukraine, but he had a different way of saying this, the reason why, than Lindsey Graham did. Watch this.
My oath of office is to the US Constitution, not to any foreign nation. And no matter how sympathetic the cause, my oath of office is to the national security of the United States of America. We cannot save Ukraine by dooming the US economy. This bill under consideration would spend $40 billion. This is the second spending bill for Ukraine in 2 months. And this bill is 3 times larger than the first.
So does Rand Paul worried about the money and the numbers of things we're doing when it comes to other countries? Because that's usually his stance when it comes to these types of things. And the Republican Party's taken this in many aspects, going, well, again, Jesse Waters did point that out there. We're getting our ass whooped at home, but you're worried about some other country. If only there was a group of politicians that was trying to do something for the American people as far as financially and economically when it comes to what's happened to the country, especially when it comes to the pandemic. If only there was somebody who pointed out the Republicans would then use this fake populism to act like they're the ones that care about the American people, even though they vote against that kind of help every time. Was there somebody? Watch. Let's see if there's somebody.
By the way, later, you know what the Republicans will do? They'll say, can you believe that Biden did the aid for Ukraine, but not for America? No.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
They'll just use it against them.
They'll say that they're America first.
Exactly.
That they would have ensured that Americans got everything they needed and that Americans would be prioritized before any other foreign country. I mean, they would lie because fact of the matter is Biden caved to the Republican Party and caved to military contractors who serve as donors for both parties. But it doesn't matter. Republicans succeed in lying.
So that was me and Anna a couple of days ago. So the context is really important here. Biden wanted to do 2 bills at once. The $40 billion to Ukraine and $10 billion for COVID relief here in America. Much less to us, but at least it was gonna come to the American people. You wanna know who said no? The Republicans. They said no, we will not allow you to pass any bill in favor of the American people. Oh, the Ukraine aid, that's gonna go to our defense contractor donors, no problem, that flies through, okay? And that's why Anna and I said, oh, Biden thinks agreeing with McConnell's gonna help him, and that the Republicans are gonna say, oh, Biden did a good job here, way to not do COVID relief and just only give the money to Ukraine. No, we said, we guarantee you they're gonna turn around. Thank you, hashtag Cenk was right. Okay, I didn't plan that, but I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, and they're gonna turn around and say, why didn't you give it to America first? Lindsey Graham was one of the people who blocked it. And he goes on TV. That's why in the beginning, when Jesse Waters asked him a question, he seemed a little flustered. I don't know if you noticed that. He was like, oh, yeah, of course, America, yeah, sure, fine. I mean, not defense contractors, sure, America. He even, I think, did a Freudian slip, said, I totally did it. I mean, how is that for accidentally honest? So yeah, of course, Biden making the mistake for the billionth time in a row of agreeing with Republicans, which they then use against them. Brian.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, Jesse Waters said, hey, Congress, what about us? What about us? How did Republicans vote on the things that were actually put forward to help Americans, like lowering costs, like childcare, like universal pre-K, allowing the government to negotiate lower drug prices, capping the cost of insulin? Half of Congress voted against infrastructure for their own states and localities, half of those Republicans. And every single Republican voted against the American Rescue Plan that had money for COVID shots that presumably Republicans took advantage of, and even money for states and localities that would fund stuff like, the police. So like if Jesse Waters is trying to figure out why no one is helping Americans, I mean, I know a few people he can start with.
Including the guy he had on his show, Lindsey Graham, right? And Joe Biden, again, oh no, my Republican friends. Lindsey Graham was supposed to be your big Republican friend. And he just said you're a disaster. What happened to your Republicans? You don't have any Republican friends. They're the other party, Joe. You're supposed to fight them. You're supposed to take them on. You're not supposed to agree with them.
And they'll say that Joe Biden is not unifying. This is Joe Biden's version of trying to unify the country by listening to what Republicans say or suggest or demand, even though they don't have much of a right behind it, of what they want to do to the American people. Then after he kowtows and goes their direction, they go, look at this guy, he's not looking out for you at all. Just like, as you mentioned there, when it came to the infrastructure bills and things like that. After they voted against it, after it still passed, they went back home and said, you see what I did for you? When they actually voted against it. They destroy the country, or attempt to as many degrees as possible, then blame Democrats for it, and Democrats go,
yeah, by the way, one thing that Biden could do is he could do an interview anywhere, right?
100%.
And say, hey, you know who did it? It was the Republicans. They killed your COVID relief. I was trying to get, by the way, that bill, he's still putting it up. He still wants to pass. So why don't you put pressure on them? Say, oh my God, you wanted America first. You could even play that clip
100%.
From Fox News and then have Biden go, good news for Fox News. We're ready to pass the bill, $10 billion for Americans right now. Oh,
and by the way,
the
Cenk,
Republicans blocking it. Go ahead, Brian.
They should do that for everything. I mean, this Roe bill that will come up and inevitably fail. They should be putting that month after month after month. And if they don't want to do Build Back Better, because the marketing for Build Back Better is kind of ethereal anyway. But if they want to put a bill to allow the government to negotiate lower drug prices, put that bill up and let it fail. Put a bill with funding for pre-K, for childcare, for the child tax credit, whatever it takes. Just keep putting them up and keep letting it fail. Because if we have to show people that it's not for lack of trying, then at least get caught trying, then like at least that's something, as opposed to putting these things up once, letting them fail, and then letting the Republicans own the narrative in terms of why nothing is getting done.
Every time something like this happens, Jake, they complain about those bills being put up. Let them complain about it. After they complain about it, you're stockpiling their opinions and their points about it and saying, you see now, list their name every time, because they'll keep saying, I can't believe we have to keep voting on this, American people. That's what their response is.
Yeah, last thing, Brian's 100% right. It's a really simple strategy. Just all of these policies range from 70 to 90% in popularity. Make them vote no on paid family leave. and make it a big, giant spectacular. We are now voting to see if you can have days off after you deliver your baby. The Republicans all say no, you should have no days off and should go right back into the mines, okay? And they're pro-life, remember, pro-life. But as soon as you have the baby, risk your health, risk the baby's health, and get your ass back to work. That's what the Republicans say. This is so easy. By the way, I hate to do it, but you know why they don't do these incredibly simple and obvious political strategies? Because it would piss off their donors. Otherwise, you'd have to be nuts not to do that strategy. And I'll give Brian one more piece of credit. I love the line he just had. Get caught trying.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like we have nothing to. Either you try for these things or you just do nothing, because it's not like they're going to allow anything else to get through anyway. So put it on the floor for a vote now and do it again in June and July and August and September, October, and then we have midterms in November. And this way the American people will know, okay, if you missed the first vote, which of course people do because people don't watch C-SPAN like lunatics like we do. But if they missed the first one, then at least they can see the third, fourth, fifth, or sixth one, and they'll know like what is going on with these Republicans that they keep voting against these things that, like you said, have 60, 70, 80% support across the country.
I'll edit the videos. Just pay me, pay me a couple $1,000. I'll edit those videos for you.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.